trusted you. Do the right thing, President Biden. Give the Democratic Party our independence. Give America its first woman president. Wow, here are the latest updates on what's going on with the Biden camp, including who's trying to convince inside of the Biden family Joe Biden to step aside. We'll talk about the fundraising update for Joe Biden. Hint, hint, it's not good, but you'll see just how bad it is. We'll talk about general responses about Biden's replacement and potential options. Let's get right into it. First, Israel is now coming out, and Israeli political commentators and military commentators are coming out suggesting that Biden's weakness is essentially a direct line of support for Iran and Hamas to potentially strengthen geopolitical hostilities, that this debate performance was such a disaster, we could actually end up seeing more tension around the world and more deaths around the world because America doesn't have a strong leader. It's also worth noting that right now, the latest predicted betting odds are suggesting a little bit of a fluctuation. So last night, right after we heard Joe Biden's team essentially say Joe Biden's going to reevaluate his campaign with family, we have seen some fluctuations in the betting odds of who is likely to be the Democratic nominee. Biden's odds right after that announcement yesterday fell 26% to a coin toss at about 51 cents. Kamala Harris's odds doubled to about 28 cents, and Newsom stayed flat at around 15 cents. Now, since then, we've seen a little bit of a fluctuation back. You'll be able to see that on screen right here. You've got Biden right now at about 58 cents, Kamala at 52, Newsom still roughly flat. So you had a little bit of a recovery there in that last 24 hours for Biden after that incredible dip over here. And you are still seeing this slight trend up on Harris. This is likely because a lot of folks worry that if you replace Joe Biden with another man and you step over Kamala Harris, that you are insulting women and insulting a black woman. This is at least what you're hearing in liberal channels. On sort of right-leaning channels, you're not hearing that allegation so much. People are focused on, okay, who is actually probably the biggest threat to Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump has actually shifted a little bit. Donald Trump previously said, Joe Biden's not going to be the nominee, he's not going to make it. Now, Donald Trump is shifting, going, Biden's the nominee. You know, he's the best chance they got. All of the other contenders, Gavin Newsom, whatever, that's, the Trump line, all of them pull lower than Biden does. See, that's a manipulation. Donald Trump is trying to manipulate his competition to go, yeah, Biden is polling better than all the other replacements, so maybe we keep Biden because he's our best chance. Donald Trump wants that because he just trounced them in the debate, and all of the polls have been showing Trump as beating Biden. The lead is pretty wide. Now, obviously, we have to be skeptical with polls. They could lead to lower voter turnout because people are like, election's decided already. But this is a very interesting strategy from Trump, and it is a flip-flop. Now, we already know Biden is expected to discuss the future of his re-election campaign with family at Camp David. Personally, I think there's a high likelihood that we're going to get an announcement on July 4th that Joe Biden is doing the most patriotic thing for his country, and he is going to take the selfless exit, and he's going to step aside on Independence Day. Now, of course, that'll be branded as independence from Joe Biden, from people who don't like the Biden camp. But it is a potentially notable day to step aside and allow somebody else to be announced. The problem with that is a few things. One, you've already got party delegates essentially assigned to voting for Biden when the DNC starts. And we'll have sort of an early roll call in early August for that. So in other words, we're running out of time here to make any kind of changes. The only way to really get these delegates to support a different candidate is by having the entire party support another candidate. And so we think we're going through this systemized transition. It starts with disaster and outrage, then it turns into excuses. He has a cold, he's sundowning, his voice is raspy at night, he does better the early part of the day, blah, 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 blah. Then you get support. Oh, well, he's better than Trump. Oh, Trump lied a lot. Oh, well, both of them lied, okay? Clinton and Obama, whatever. They come out, they express their support. Then you get family that cozies up to Biden, like Valerie Biden. This is something that Axios is just reporting. And Axios is reporting that Valerie Biden is actually likely to be one of the big family members who's going to try to push Biden to leave. She's expected to make it clear that Biden should step down by suggesting that this isn't about him submitting to the will of others, but rather it's about him saying, look, we came, we conquered, we stopped Trump for 4 years. Now it's time to let somebody else continue to fight. You could walk away with dignity, Biden. Walk away now. Those are the inside scoops that we're hearing from those involved with the White House and the Democratic Party. This is a Democratic Party official who's speaking anonymously to Axios. Now, there's a lot of tension about whether or not this is actually going to happen. Consider The Economist says, no, Biden won't go. And there's actually, quote, something Trumpian about the Democratic Party's denial of reality. Now, that's really interesting because The Economist is basically saying, hey, the party is sticking to Biden so much, and if they do that, they're going to be paralyzed by the, quote, sunk cost of Biden and think that they could continue to lie to people, essentially, with this flawed strategy of convincing voters that they're unanimous, but it's probably a bad move. So even though Biden should go, The Economist thinks he won't go. It's interesting. So it's kind of torn all over the place. Here on the right side, you'll see those quotes from Time magazine. These are brutal. We trusted you. Do the right thing, President Biden. Give the Democratic Party our independence. Give America its first woman president. Grant history that gift. Grant your legacy that gift. It would complete a career-defining, democracy-celebrating suite of sound service. Wow, big slam from Time magazine with a head cover here of Biden walking off the side of the magazine and then panic. Holy smokes. This is similar to what we've seen over here. Take a look at this. Jeff Stein, I wrote, was the White House economics reporter during COVID, and he was always very reasonable, professional, and seemingly nonpartisan. I followed him closely. He's been off X for about 7 months. The first thing he does upon his return, he slays Biden. That's because all he posted was the full Biden quote before he said, we finally beat Medicare, and then a screenshot of the transcript. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24 or 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 million, billion dollars, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, childcare, elder care, making sure we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare. Yikes. Okay, that's not good. This is a weak president. Joe Biden should step down. This is clear, and you know, this has been the position of myself on the channel very clearly. In fact, just minutes after the debate, I tweeted it would be irresponsible for anybody to vote for Joe Biden. So personally, I think that Joe Biden, yes, he is clearly sundowning, but remember that sundowning is a condition that leads to a state of confusion in the late afternoon through the night. It's not actually a disease. It's just a group of symptoms common amongst those with Alzheimer's or early onset dementia or whatever. It's obvious that he has early onset of dementia. This might explain why he can operate using a teleprompter. He doesn't have to worry about pace or memory, faculties that are basically disrupted with dementia. Instead, somebody else can provide the pace and provide exactly what he says, which is why the sort of Biden surrogates inside the White House are freaking out, going, no, we need to continue to support him. He absolutely won't step down. Duh, because none of them want to lose their jobs. Because as soon as you transition to a different candidate, which could be, Michelle Obama, it could be Kamala Harris, whatever, you're probably going to have a very different office staff. So it's important to remember that a president must be fit for Americans at all times to perform, to remember, to negotiate, to protect. A dementia patient is not going to negotiate with Russia or China, and they're going to do whatever they want, like invade Ukraine. Now, keep in mind, politics is money. Now, I hate saying that. I really do. But I want you to think for a moment how the game is played. As soon as the fundraising dries up, Biden will be forced out by the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party will find it very difficult to actually fundraise thanks to Joe Biden's debate performance. So from a money and finance point of view alone, I think Biden is going to be forced out, whether it's by his family or his own volition or whatever. Again, I think it'll be an Independence Day, a Freedom from Joe Biden Day. Politics is money. And I believe that Democratic fundraising will basically go to zero or near zero until Biden is replaced. A replacement could actually surge new fundraising because Democrats could take this argument or stance that, hey, we're starting over, we need more money to help us beat Trump. Wealthy donors have already been texting alternative candidates, begging them to step up. This has been thoroughly reported. We've got it all linked over at eHack for our sources at ehack.com. Remember, though, the party won't let you step up against the entire party's desire. We saw this when we ran for governor in California. The party is very, very united. So you need Biden to choose to step down. But the manipulation in fundraising is already beginning, and I'm going to give you a fundraising update here. Very quickly, though, I want to mention our sponsor for today's video. You're going to go to metkevin.com/Coinbase to learn more about them. That's metkvin.com/Coinbase. And you can get up to $200 for signing up for a crypto account with Coinbase. You can earn free crypto. This is a paid promotion with Coinbase. And so we encourage you to check out our sponsor of the channel. Now let's talk Biden fundraising. Biden did raise $3.7 million at Governor Philip Murphy's home this Saturday evening. We think the vast majority of the money that they've raised since debate day happened on the day of the debate. Remember, on Friday, we heard, Biden raised $27 million between debate day and Friday night. Cool, $27 million. Most of that was probably before the debate. Who the hell is going to donate after that debate? Now, in fairness to them, they did raise that $3.7 million Saturday night. But it's important to know how this is done. This isn't like people went to this Governor Phil Murphy's home and are like, yeah, here, take millions of dollars. These are people who are already committed to go. They probably already wired their $100,000 per visitor or whatever it is to go, and the money was actually probably already raised. So I would discount the latest update by about that $3.7 million. And so what's the latest update we have? Well, since debate day, MSNBC just reported that the Biden camp has raised $33 million since Thursday. Okay, $33 million. Minus 3.7 that was probably already committed previously. Minus the 27 we're assuming came in before the debate performance means they've actually only raised about $2.3 million of new money since the debate. In other words, a huge plummet. It is a massive vote of nominal confidence. So, my order of potential replacements, I think they'll probably start with Kamala Harris, though there are a lot of people who disagree with that, and instead think you should go with Gavin Newsom. There's Michelle Obama, Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, Pete Buttigieg, transportation secretary, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, Ro Khanna, California representative, and then you've got the senators, the Amy Klobuchar, the Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. I think it's going to be someone here that'll be a replacement. I personally wouldn't be surprised if we get some kind of like Newsom and potentially Kamala Harris ticket. Now, some people get mad at me when I suggest that, but that way the Democratic Party could pull off something that's important to them, which is, we're elevating a black woman to the national stage and we're handing the torch to a woman. And then you can also put somebody like Newsom in as VP, or maybe somebody with a cleaner record than what you get from California, although they would both be from California, mind you. Harris also came from California. I'm not imposing my opinion on this in terms of who would be best. I'm just more thinking what they might do. They might also go for, Michelle Obama option, which would then eliminate the Kamala Harris, getting sidestepped as a black woman because Michelle Obama is also a black woman. Andrew Yang has been on this campaign of trying to get Joe Biden to step down. He minces no words and basically says, swap out Biden like ASAP. Trump, we know, is campaigning almost daily, and the Biden team recently sent out an email, 7 things to tell your friends after the debate and 4 things you can do. One of those, obviously, donate. But it's very interesting. Listen to this. If you're like me, you're getting a lot of texts or calls from folks about the state of the race after Thursday. Maybe it was your panicked aunt, your MAGA uncle, or some self-important podcasters. It's a tough position to be in. Yes. Wow. Let's criticize smaller independent media in favor of your mainstream media. Oh, but wait, they're also bagging on Joe Biden. Interesting. Then, in the email, the Biden camp is, quote, making it clear that he is not going to drop out, period. These frankly sound like desperate Biden campaigners or staffers that don't want to lose their role in the White House. There are a lot of folks also on social media that are talking about, why didn't we have Democratic primary debates? We actually haven't had Democratic primary debates since the Ford administration for an incumbent. So that is normal, but yes, we would have been able to see Joe Biden's failings had we actually had a debate, and I think we should have had a debate. I think it doesn't matter if you're an incumbent or not, you should have the debate. We also know that the New York Times editorial board has suggested that Biden should leave, not because they like Trump, they still view Trump as a threat to democracy, but because somebody else needs to pick up the fight, so to speak. Others suggest that the party should be about more than just one person, which again reiterates why Biden needs to go. So these are all of the updates that we have over the last 24 hours here. There's a lot. Biden is meeting with his family today. I personally don't think we'll get an announcement today because you got to let the party go through the process where basically the party goes, okay, Biden is going to step down. He's going to do it on his own volition. Great. Now, what candidate are we going to choose? What slogan are we going to use for them? For example, Democrats might say, let's make history, not destroy it. Elect Harris Newsom for a moral, fair, just, and rich new future for all. I'm not much of a slogan guy, so I used some GPT ones after that. A brighter future with Harris Newsom. Bold leadership for a new era. Harris and Newsom. Together we rise. Harris Newsom 2024. I don't know. I'm not trying to pick a side here. I'm just on the what I think is the American side, which is Joe has got to go.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.
Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, licensed real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is not personalized advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show shall not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purposes of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services we may benefit from. I also personally operate an actively managed ETF. I may personally hold or otherwise hold long or short positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuer other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Make sure if you're considering investing in HouseHack to always read the PPM at househack.com.